We expected him to say thank you to Pope Francis for his efforts to break the diplomatic deadlock between the United States and Cuba, but certainly this indication that he may have found at the age of 85 faith is something of a surprise and makes it even more interesting. And certainly the upcoming trip in September to Cuba may be interesting indeed, since he did say during this press conference, I promise that I will go to all of Pope Francis's masses.
Well, for more on this, our Patrick Oppman joins us now live from Havana. And Patrick, he was an atheist for most of his life, but is it true, do you think, that he could return to the Catholic Church?
You know, it would seem somewhat miraculous, right? And at first, because Raul Castro had a smile on his face, sometimes he is known to play a joke or two and kid with the press before becoming very serious. And of course, he is a general. Of course, he runs a government that has been very tough on people throughout the years who are religious. It seemed like almost a joke, and that's why perhaps he turned and said, "I'm not joking." But there have been so many miraculous moments here just in the last 6 months, things that nobody ever expected to happen. Why not? Raul Castro said that he'd come to Rome to thank the Pope personally, and after an hour of meeting with the Pope, he said that while he's not going to be perhaps at a Sunday service anytime soon, that if things keep going the way they are going, that he could foresee a day where he would rejoin the Catholic Church. And perhaps even more interestingly, he said that now people who are religious will not be banned from government service as they had in the past. And he'd said that more and more there will be a loosening of restrictions of people of faith. And certainly we can expect the visit of Pope Francis in September here in Cuba to continue pushing along that line, to continue pushing restrictions and continue pushing for Catholics in Cuba to have more freedoms, as some of his predecessors have. But of course, this Pope coming here, speaking in his native Spanish, he's already had a major effect on Raul Castro just today. We'll wait and see what happens when he comes here in Cuba and has many more meetings with Raul Castro and is able to speak directly to the Cuban people. Jonathan, Linda.
Patrick, if it's a joke, it's a stunning kind of joke when you think about Cuba's past. I mean, this is a country that essentially made the church illegal. It exiled priests, that sent them into re-education centers, and a lot of Catholics suffered for their faith. They must be spinning with all of the changes.
Absolutely. I mean, one person told me today, well, who would take Raul's confession? How long would that take? So people make jokes about it, but there is a very serious past here. Just Cuba's Cardinal Jaime Ortega, he was one of many Catholics who were sent to work camps. Essentially, had to cut sugarcane and be taught a lesson for what was seen as opposition to the government. Ever since John Paul in 1998 arrived in Cuba, there has been a loosening of restrictions, but there's always a bit of a distance. Yes, Fidel Castro went to masses that John Paul carried out in Havana's Revolution Square, but he always there was always that remove of him saying that he was an atheist, and he felt that the revolution, communism, that fulfilled all the human beings' needs, and really there was always a sense of, we're allowing you to be religious, but we're still not embracing you. Raul Castro striking a very different tone today, and certainly quite appreciative of the Pope's behind-the-scene role in this, and we'll see more of that in September as the Pope, saying that he will come here. We don't know all the dates yet, but we are hearing from sources in the church that it'll be multiple visits, that there will be a mass in Havana's Revolution Square that can fit 1 million people. Other than Cuban government officials like Fidel and Raul, you never see anyone allowed to speak there. So to allow Pope Francis to speak there is quite a change in tone. And Raul Castor said he'll be at every one of the masses the Pope carries out in Cuba at the end of the summer.
Well, we'll wait and see if that happens. This could be a miracle of the Pope.
Really, I mean, he joins a lot of people who are planning to go to church sometime in the future, a lot more frequently, but astonishing coming from him, really.
Yeah. Patrick Oppman, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.